The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. It's Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke here, and it's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater. A little cloudy, but it's 55 degrees, so it's kind of like a spring weather, so we kind of like this. And we've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about water today, folks, so stick around for that. I'd like to remind you first to pick up my Health Signals newsletter. We have a brand new copy hitting the airways right now. I'll show you a little picture of it right here. And it starts out with a great subject of people eating nuts more than 3 times a week have reduced risks of dying from cancer or cardiovascular
I wonder if that has
disease.
anything to do with the whole vitamin E family right there.
Yeah, it's the oils. Yeah, we will find out if you read the newsletter, so please pick that up. The number here is 877-927-6648. And Paige, we've got a great guest lined up.
We sure do. We sure do, everybody. We are so pleased to have Winston Gao in the office today. Winston is a world-renowned water researcher, very involved in not only water research, but agricultural, minerals, and energy technologies that many people don't know about but need to know about.
That's for sure.
And we really appreciate you coming in today, Winston.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So, can we pull up his website? I want people to know. We're going to talk about some of the inventions. Sure. But first of all, let me just tell us a little bit about how you got into this field. What was your passion and why are you here 30-some years later?
Actually, it was one day I woke up and I go, what do I want to see on my tombstone?
Really?
What would I like to be known for? And at that time, I was designing all kinds of carpet cleaning, non-toxic carpet cleaning, and I didn't want to say the world's best carpet cleaner. That just did not cut it, So I looked around and I found the subject called agriculture. And I figured I could be deaf, dumb, stupid, and still contribute something to the world of agriculture because they have gone so far south in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we certainly
so far badly that I go, there's 93 to 100 and plus different kinds of trace minerals. They're only using N, P, and K.
We've destroyed
lots
our
of pesticides, lots of herbicides, and you talk to some of the professors and they'll swear on a stack of Bibles that you cannot grow anything without herbicides and pesticides, which of course is not true. Man has grown wonderful food for centuries upon centuries without having to share it with the insects and bugs and fungus and mildew.
Right.
That was not the condition.
And I think one of the things that you taught me was that when we see insects, bugs, that is the nature controlling a bad crop. When they come in, it's not a good crop.
If they come in, you know you're growing garbage because they are Mother Nature's garbage collectors. So if you see aphids on your plants, you automatically know, 1, lack of calcium. Forget about the nitrogen. Lack of calcium. That is for sure.
That's not in NPK.
That is for sure the first error. When you see cutworms, white flies, it's usually calcium number 1, and then there's probably other things, and maybe the third or fourth things might be N and P and K, but that wouldn't be the number 1. So the first attack of how do I get in this business was I went into minerals and the lack of minerals in all our foods, like our nutrition level in our fruits and vegetables. This is why there's a book called Empty Harvest. You look at a pretty beautiful banana and apple and they have no nutrition. You look at a piece of salad and it's basically distilled water with a little flavoring that's poor.
Right.
That's what we have called quote unquote food, but it's not really food.
Exactly.
So true. So true.
So this is why we have jokes, you know. The cardboard box has more nutrition than the vegetable that's in the cardboard box.
Yeah. So explain something that there's a lot of confusions about filter systems in
Right.
water, and of course we're dealing with water that's mainly polluted with various things, including some things that we put in the water,
Like fluoride and chlorine.
Yeah, exactly.
And how about arsenic?
Right, right. So what is your take on water filtration?
A lot of things. As you might imagine, in agriculture, the key is water.
Yes.
If you don't have the correct water structure, you will induce fungus, mildews, insects to your plants or your animals.
Right.
So the two things you don't want is pesticides, herbicides, and the vet bill.
No doubt, no doubt.
Okay, so I've been really focused on the water. And common sense, you don't want poisons in your water. The common number one poison would be chlorine, right? This is the number one thing that they would put in. But at least chlorine, when it does kill germs, which is what it's supposed to be for. However, there are other choices like hydrogen peroxide. Now, when you put chlorine into water, water will naturally have 3,000 to 5,000 organic compounds. Now, these are like bug juices, plant juices, you know, but they're organic compounds. They're naturally occurring in the water. They're non-toxic. Now, you put chlorine into it,
And
now you just turn the 3,000 to 5,000 organic compounds into known or suspected carcinogen.
Right.
This is why many of the other countries prefer to use hydrogen peroxide or ozone or some sort of ozone type, oxygen type of way of cleaning up the water rather than chlorine, because you don't want to make these chlorine byproducts, right?
Yeah.
So chlorine's the first nail in the coffin.
So that was the
tap
first
water.
nail. Then they started to add ammonia 24 inches after they inject the chlorine in, and they form chloramines. Notice it's an S, a plural, which means they're trying, watch my language, they're trying to make monochloramines, but they will also make dichloramines, trichloramines. Now, these are very toxic materials, so, which the cities will never admit. They're saying, we're trying to make monochloramines. We're trying, and they won't discuss the other. This is really, 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 really rough on our kidneys. So that's item number 2, chloramines, and very difficult to take out. Chlorine, carbon filter, put it in, take it out, no problem.
Okay.
Chloramines, oh boy, you have to have big tanks, a variety of different kinds of carbons, and you may take it out. It's much, much, much more difficult. Now comes politics. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, why would you put fluoride in it? Let's get down to the basics of fluoride. Okay.
Your passion, Paige.
First of all, what are the 3 most toxic things on planet Earth? The most common thing is arsenic.
Right.
Second is fluoride. And way down in toxicity is lead. Those are the 3 most common toxic materials. The maximum contamination goal, that's what the FDA sets for, you know, what we ideally we would like to see. So the ideal scene for them would be 0 parts per million for arsenic and 0 parts per million for lead, and 4 parts per million or 4,000 parts per billion for fluoride. Like, what's wrong with this picture here?
Yeah, the most toxic of them all.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit in history. Who's the first person to put fluoride in the drinking water for the general population to drink? Anybody want to guess?
Probably the United States.
No,
Nope.
Nazi Germany.
Oh, was it?
Not the whole population.
Right, but
Just the German concentration camp.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Hitler was the first person to put
yeah.
into the German concentration. And do we know who's the second person?
No.
Equally as bad as Hitler.
Mussolini?
No, a little later time.
A little later time.
Russian.
Oh, Stalin?
Stalin. Also in his concentration camp.
Wow.
And the third person, well, he's a figment of our imagination. His name is Uncle Sam.
yeah.
And
That comes with a lot of territory right there.
And the concentration camp is called United States of America.
Yeah, unfortunately.
gosh, I
we can
never
get
thought
into
about it
that
like that.
whole subject there, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
So it's basically, let's assume,
mass global experiment.
Yeah, let's assume that fluoride does make the teeth harder, which it does. Let's assume that it's good for you, which it isn't. But let's assume that it is good and it does make your teeth hard. That's a medication being put in the water.
Without permission.
Forget about the permission. It's mass medication.
Without authorization.
Without authorization. So right there, let's not go step 2.
And that's always been my premise. Let me just interject. When we were having our local water fight here, I even got mentioned on the Alex Jones show because, we were the laughingstock, Pinellas County. We had it all removed, and then we had the dental lobby here with all the bucks, and we added it back in. But I was fighting it in 2 small towns.
Let me correct one thing. We never had it removed.
Well, we had voted to have it removed.
Oh, no. It's even worse than that. We voted in to have it fully removed, and the Clearwater, City of Clearwater, no longer added fluoride to the water. However, they bought water that had fluoride pre-fluoridated in the water. But the City of Clearwater did not add any fluoride to the water.
Oh, I see. Well,
and the reason I found that up is because I was measuring the fluoride at my house in Clearwater, and I go, I just measured, and there's blankety blank amount of fluoride. How do you account for it? They said, we don't add it. So what am I reading here? They said, well, the Hillsborough County pre-adds the water, and we buy the water from them, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, the lobbyists are so strong. They basically just use that to circumvent.
Now, are there any communities that you know of that really don't fluoridate in the United States?
Oh, actually, believe it or not, there's probably some 200 cities which
growing every day.
Which has pushed out fluoridation, and while there is a tremendous drive, Europe has banned fluoridation, Hawaii has banned fluoridation, and while we have some inroads in fluoridation being banned, it actually has gone from 68% of the cities in the United States continent to 74% cities that have fluoridation. So while there are a few cities who are tough, smart, and ethical, and whatever, has managed to push it out, the numbers of fluoridated cities are increasing. So
probably because of that same sleight of hand action you just said. We voted it out, and then Pinellas County just decided instead.
It was a little bit worse than that. The county commissioners that voted it out all lost their political positions. They got kicked out. The next ones, I understand they were paid $300,000 for their campaign, and that this is all public information, and that the 6 guys were voted in. And I was right there. After we gave a discussion on how fluoride was not good, how bad it was, a couple of the pro-fluoride dentists came up, and without a discussion among themselves, they just put it to the vote and put it right back into the water.
And I
heard
heard one of those pro-fluoride dentists is actually now running for commission seat. Someone told me that the other day. I'll have to check it. But, a lot of you all aren't here. It's our little saga here. Let's get back to,
So let's get back to the water.
Well, let me remind the folks that the number here is 877-927-6648. So if you have any questions for Winston or for Paige and I, please feel free to call us, and we'll get to that. And please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, brand new issue coming out.
Good stuff.
And it's really loaded with some really interesting things that I haven't put in there before, but we're trying to really open your eyes in many different avenues. So please stick around. Winston, Paige, and I will be right back.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, everybody. And Nico and I have a special guest, Winston Gao. We're talking about water and what we can do to make our water healthier. We were talking a little bit about what's being added to our water, and I think many of us know and are making strides to drink healthier water, but we want you to be aware, as we've often said, what you put on your skin, you're actually eating and drinking. So, you know, my passion with natural cosmetics and aromatherapy, don't put things on your skin that you wouldn't drink, and we are drinking it when we're taking showers. So, you know, we've got Winston here, and his site is idealearthwater.com. Winston, what's a girl or a guy to do? Let's talk a little bit about the subject of water filters. Tell us the steps we should do to get better water in our home and help us clear up some of that misconception about proper filtration.
Let's start with distilled water.
Okay.
This is probably the most controversial parts of distilled water. And that is, you hear doctors saying, distilled water is good for you, or you hear doctors says, distilled water is bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so what I usually ask the doctors is so which one of the 4 different types of distilled water are you talking about?
Yes.
And of course, you usually get this deer in the headlight look, you know, 4 different types of distilled water. There's only one type. No, there's 4 different types. You know, there's very low temperature distillation, which has a low surface tension. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You guys call it rain. Okay, right. That's a type of distilled water, right? Mm-hmm. There is the high temperature with a high surface tension. That's the common distilled water that most people make. And now, the rainwater one, which is the low surface tension. There's another type which you can also make in the lab, and there's another type. There's 4 different kinds, but these are the 2 most common ones, so I don't talk about the other 2 because they're hard to get. So the surface tension makes all the difference. They're both distilled waters. One's a low surface tension, one's a high surface tension. The high surface tension leaches out the minerals out of your body, and the low surface tension, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, the low surface tension water is actually good for you. So the doctors will say, rainwater, distilled water type is good for you, is making a true statement. And the ones who says distilled water is bad for you, they're talking about the other one, and they're also correct. So you see, they're both correct. They're just talking about a different distilled water.
Right.
Now, in both cases, I would always add some Celtic sea salt or any salt that has a dirty green-gray kind of look to it. You want to see that dirty green-gray color. There are many other people who sell salts that have this beautiful snow white, dried, and with all the claims. If you don't see the dirty green-gray color, it's not good enough.
Because that has the good minerals in
That's
it.
the
So we're talking about things like Celtic, and I have a favorite by Dr. Marshall that's a volcanic that actually has a red color that's very good with minerals. And the key is we need these trace minerals.
Yeah, that's correct. And the Celtic sea salt is the reason why I always talk about that. It has 93 elements. Just about any other volcanic will start from 83 on down. And like even in Utah, you can get rock salts. They have about 53. And then of course you have the common table salt, which is sodium, chloride, and aluminum anhydride.
And everybody knows that's a no-no here.
And when doctors say that salt is bad for you, it causes heart attacks, they're referring to that last salt there, right?
Yeah, the toxic heated compound salt.
Yeah. What about the people are buying, of course, sea salt?
Well, if you don't see with your own eyes dirty green gray color, assume that it's not adequate in volume of the trace minerals. Because remember, the ocean has 1/3 sodium, 1/3 chloride, 1/3 93 other elements. So that's a lot. That's 1/3.
You're missing a lot if you're not getting
So if you cannot see the dirty green gray color, or at least a seriously tan color, it's not good enough.
And if we're talking about the Celtic salt or maybe a Himalayan salt, we're talking about ancient seabeds that really has the real good minerals in it.
And the Himalayan sea salt used to be an incredibly high-frequency salt. And
you're using nickel to grind it, and
well, that's not even a problem. They lost that beautiful vein, like a specific vein that used to be fantastic. And when I tested it 3 years ago, they gave me this sample, and I go, wow, this is a great sample. And then I said, so I bought a case, and I tested the case, and they go, wow, this doesn't have the same frequency like the sample you gave me. They go, well, we lost the vein and blah, blah, blah. I go, listen, give me my money back, take this case back, and when you find that vein again, you can come back to me, and I'll still buy it from you. They never have come back to me. And, if they're listening to this radio show, hey, if you get that new vein, you may come back, and I'll make an apology on the radio for saying what I just said. But,
Well, so when you're talking Himalayan sea salt, is there just one manufacturer that brings it in, or
at one time there was true one. There might be more than one at this point.
Okay, all right. So the number here is 877-927-6648. Winston and Paige and I will be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about water and really talking about different contaminants and really
how you can make the right choice.
Yeah, exactly. So stick around, folks.
Okay.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here. Special guest Winston, who is talking about water. And I'd like to remind you that the number here is 877-927-6648. And please take time to look at my newsletter and pick that up. You get 2 issues a month for only $10 a month. On the first and third Friday of each month, you'll get notice that it's up and ready to read. Now we have a caller on the line, and it's Chris from Wisconsin. Are you still there?
Right.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Hi, these questions for Winston. It's actually 2 questions.
Sure.
One regards acid rain, the mercury from coal burning power plants and PCBs, et cetera, that end up in the oceans as far as sea salt purchase. And then the second question would be how to filter that low surface tension rainwater prior to drinking. I know I have an asphalt shingle roof, and my grandma used to have an old farmhouse with a cistern.
Good. Well, okay. That's a very tough question. First of all, we have not had acid rain in many, many, many years, and this is because of chemtrails. Chemtrails puts out a lot of aluminum, barium, and strontium. And the rainwater is supposed to be 5 to 5.5 pH for the East Coast and 4.5 to 5 pH in the West Coast. And that is slightly acid, and that's the way rainwater is supposed to be. I have not seen naturally occurring pH in the rainwater for about 4 years. The lowest I've seen is around 7, 7.5. when it's supposed to be 5 to 5.5 here in the East Coast. That's already 100 times too high. The highest reading of rainwater I've ever recorded was November 2011, which I got a 9.68 pH. That's getting into the 10,000 range. As far as drinking rainwater here in this country and what filtrations would you use, the answer is I don't know, because you're dealing with nano technology, which just means 1,000,000 times smaller than normal size in this particular case for the aluminum. What will take that out? Answer is I don't know.
Wow.
So would I worry about your shingle roof and all the coal tar that's rolling off of it? Yeah, but it's a moot point when you consider that your rainwater is 10,000 times or 1,000 times too alkaline, and all the chemicals that are in there that I don't know what they all are. That is by far a greater concern. So stick to the city water. Is it going to have problems with the rainwater? I'm sure it does. I unfortunately do not have a solution to removing nanotized aluminum. I don't have a solution.
And we're seeing a lot more issues that we are realizing Alzheimer's and stuff are really related to aluminum. And is it? And
it's also related to fluoride, because the fluoride is so acidic that it makes the aluminum be more bioavailable, which means, you know, you get a little bit more stupid.
Tangles and things like that.
Can I answer your question, Chris?
Yeah, that answers that.
He had a second question.
Not a good answer, but...
he had a second question, though.
Yeah, how to get rid of it.
I didn't have the answer.
Yeah.
And
the question was the sea salt concerns of heavy metals, etc., ending up in the ocean, and what we can do about that.
Not too much. There is the ocean water is the biggest problem, believe it or not, is plastic. There is 6 times more plastic in the ocean than there is plankton. And the sea is the primary carbon dioxide absorber, and it is the primary oxygen producer. Now, people scream about, oh, the trees and grasses produces the primary amounts of oxygen on this planet. I'd like to point out that that is a 90% lie. It is only a 8% truth. Trees and grasses produce 8% of the oxygen on this planet. 2% is actually produced by soil-based microorganisms, and 90% is actually produced by
the seas,
the sea, the water, oceans, the bodies of water, lakes, and stuff like that.
Wow.
So getting back to his answer about the sea salts, we've offered to you all some of the sea salts that we think are the best. A Celtic, gray tinted, high mineral, trace mineral salts. I like Premier Research's pink salt, which is a ocean combined volcanic salt. Both of these we find to be great ways to get trace minerals back.
And are they totally toxic free? Probably not, but you don't seem to have that much choice. You know, you're still breathing the same air I'm breathing, which was just made by my car when I drove up to the station. You know, you just kind of have to do the best you can, and that's all I can say is you can do the very best you can. But let's get back to the subject of water.
Chris, thanks a lot. I hope that answers your question. I appreciate your call.
Thank you. Can I just ask one other quick question?
Of course.
I got a little confused then on the high surface and the low surface distilled water.
The tension, right?
Yeah, the surface tension water. So you recommend the steam distilled, or you do not recommend the steam distilled?
I do not recommend steam distilled. However, if you add the a Celtic sea salt, which is 1/4 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, to 1 gallon of distilled water, providing that that distilled water was made by you, okay? In other words, your distiller has a stainless steel dome, not a plastic dome. You're catching it with a glass container, not a plastic container. And then you add a 1/4 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt to that distilled water. Now you got good distilled water without plastic polymers and without and the hunger in it. has been canceled by the Celtic sea salt. So now that becomes good water to drink.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot for calling, Chris.
Thank you.
Now, we have another caller on the line, and it's Rob from New Jersey. So let's get Rob on the line. Hi, Rob. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you today?
Great. What's your question?
I was wondering for the kitchen faucet, like I use Brita, is there any particular filter that you guys recommend for that?
Good question.
Yes, very, very good question, and we'll get to that, but I will tell you this much. Brita is basically a good charcoal filter. It will handle low quantities of the chlorine, providing that the Brita filter is brand new. Make sure you follow their thing. That's what it will handle. The chlorine aspect. Forget about all the fluorides and chloramines. Little teeny-weeny Brita filter is not going to tackle that, and they will not claim that they can take out anything but chlorine and some other minor amounts of contaminants, providing that filter is new and within their dates, right?
Okay.
So let's go to the next subject, which is the most common water filter that most Americans have, and that is reverse osmosis water. By the way, reverse osmosis water also happens to be 90% of the bottled water is going to also be reverse osmosis water. Mm-hmm. Now, this technology removes minerals down to less than 50 parts per million. So it is a very hungry water. It's more hungrier
than distilled
water. Now, first of all, when you strip out all the alkaline minerals out of this water, you're going to get an acid water. And RO water systems are routinely going to give you someplace between 5.5 pH to about a 6.4 pH water. Okay,
slightly
so
acid.
So it's quite acid.
Quite
it's not
acid.
slightly.
Yeah.
So comparing 5.5 to like 7 to 7.5, let's say 7.5 versus 5.5, that is 5.5 to 6.5 is 10 times. 5.5 to 7.5, that's 100 times. So it's 100 times too
Very
acidic.
exponential.
Okay, it's an exponential scale for pH. So when you're drinking RO water, this is my viewpoint. If I'm dying from thirst, crawling out of desert, yes, I will drink reverse osmosis water because it will save my life. On a day-to-day basis, this is my viewpoint. There are other things such as too technical to talk on a radio show, but you've heard people say, oh, I like to sprout seeds, but I have such bad luck. These seed companies give these seeds that every time I sprout them, I have fungus issue, and they blame the seed companies. I like to point out, one, the seed company is innocent. It is the water that you use to sprout your seed that causes the fungus. Even if you use the not so clean city water loaded with fluoride, your chances are that you won't have fungus growing in your seeds. But if you use reverse osmosis water, it's probably 7 out of 10 times you're going to end up with fungus in your seeds. This is why people say, I do succeed once in a while, but most of the times I have fungus issue with the sprouted seeds. Blame the water. It's a frequency. It induces this fungus to grow, putrefaction. And if you extrapolate that data and says, okay, so I drink this water, am I going to have fungus growing in my gut? What do you think that answer is going to be?
Yes, yes. So what is the ideal filtration system that we want to use?
That's the name of his company. Ideal Earth Water.
So what is the ideal earth water? Well, I want minerals in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want some wrong kind of frequency in it.
Okay.
And you want the minerals that we can use.
Precisely.
Right.
So it's got to cover those things. And I certainly don't want fluoride. I do not want to be more stupid, right? Yeah. Because that's what fluoride does, right? When you talk about Prozac, as you might know, this is an antidepressant drug that causes persons to be depressed. Mm-hmm. If you read the red label on Prozac, you have homicide and suicide as a side effect. It's like, excuse me? And they're putting it into a drinking water? Excuse me?
Well, there's numerous studies that are showing that...
If you go to say that's too extreme, just type in the word fluoxetine. And
many drugs are made with that.
No, you will get all the generic brands of Prozac popping up. So you will instantly know, well, there's some truth here. And do some more homework and you'll find out that, oh my goodness, these antidepressant drugs are heavily loaded was fluoride. Now, why do they put fluoride in our drinking water? You go figure that one out.
Yeah. So what's the solution?
So the solution is what I brought. Fluoride, because it's acidified, it is very difficult to take out. Now, I want to cover a whole broad thing. One is, you start with the acid. Where does the acid come from? It's the industry's waste acid from chrome bumpers, gold rings, and silver. Okay, it's the waste acid from the industry that gets sold to one of these wholesalers. They then sell it to Florida phosphate mining industry, and then they wash the soft rock phosphates to get out the naturally occurring fluoride, chromium, strontium-90. Those are naturally occurring radioactive materials in Florida's soft rock mining industry. So they have to clean those things out so that when the soft rock phosphate is sold, it won't kill the plants and actually performs what soft rock phosphate is supposed to do. So now you have this tailings, all this waste. It's called hydrofluoric silicic acid. Really, I consider that a misnomer because there's all the heavy metals come from the heavy metal industry from the acid. So where does the arsenic come from? Well, that's where it comes from. Where does the lead come from? It comes from the acid. So if you wonder how does the city add arsenic to the water, well, it's a byproduct of the hydrofluoric silicic waste.
So how do we get this stuff out?
So this is, because it's so difficult, I have a special technology I'm not going to tell over a radio show. However,
but you use this in your product.
I use this in my product, and basically what I do is I make the fluoride with one tank. It's a proprietary. I do something to it to change the structure of the fluoride so that it begins to be more available for the next tank to actually see it, take it out from the water, and then I have a next tank which then addresses all the volatile organic compounds, the other heavy metals, and the other issues like VOCs and various different things. So there is a lot of redundancy.
Under the sink filter systems, we have also
whole house system, right? Systems. So I also have within the whole house system a water conditioner that actually puts the right structure, softens the water without using salt. So it's a non-chemical water conditioner. So this is why I call it the ideal earth water. It softens the water, makes the water wetter with no chemicals, step one. Step two, I make the fluoride available so that the step three can actually see the fluoride to take it out. And then step four actually now addresses all the other water issues. And then there's still one of the under the sink system for part of the whole house that will now is at the kitchen sink level. So in case anything slips by all of these things, there's still one more redundancy filter there to catch anything that may slip by. Because you have to realize we have humans that add the fluoride to the drinking water. Sometimes they forget to put it in. Sometimes they add more. Sometimes there's a little accident here and there. There are things that vary.
So for Ron asking the question, what's the solution, it's really going to idealearthwater.com and looking at, right here we have pictured a double tank under the sink, but you also have the whole house systems, and of course you also have systems for swimming pools.
And swimming pools.
For the under the sink ones, can we put those in, or do you need a plumber?
Actually, anybody who knows how to put in a faucet will be able to put one of these things in. It's not that difficult.
And I had another question. You know, they like some of these bottled waters advertised, like from Iceland, it's pH 8.8. Is alkaline water better for you, or is that just advertising? Or?
That's a loaded question. The bottom line that I always answer is whether a water is good or bad, grow some seeds with it. If the seeds come out fat and robust, it's a good water. If the seeds come out thin and spindly or doesn't sprout at all, not a good water.
Hey, Rob, appreciate your call. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks. The number 877-927-6648, and we got one more segment coming up.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Up next, the Diagnostics Trading Hour with Daryl Martin here on TFNN.
And welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Winston Gow about Ideal Earth Water, and we've got a short segment. We've run out of time. The nice thing is, as Winston is encouraging any of you to contact, go to idealwater.com.
Ideal Earth Water.
Idealearthwater.com. And Winston, you've got some ideas for our TFNN listeners. You put together something special.
Yes, we have a very, very special sale going on right now, and that is we have a $150 discount for a under the sink system, and we have a $400 discount for a whole house system. But for the TFNN listeners, tell them for the mystery discount, and you will get another discount on top of the $150 or the $400. So
thank you.
That's just for you guys.
Just for the taggers and taggers.
Yeah, because we want you back. Because, I mean, you are just a wealth of information. Guys, I'm telling you, when it comes to growing food, minerals, health, he's just a genius. And so we're going to have a special arrangement. Maybe we're going to have a resource page here. We've got another caller. Maybe we can take that real quick.
Okay.
We do have a caller.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my message board here. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. This is Danny from Atlanta.
Hey, Danny.
Hi. The water in Florida tastes like swamp water, even the bottled water. Does this filter remove that taste? And
Absolutely. It's so easy. That's a no-brainer because, as you said, our water here in Florida tastes so bad that it's really easy to significantly improve it to it'll match a mountain spring water with
taste
real
and
sweet.
texture.
Yeah, of course, our water does come from swamp, so maybe that's why it tastes like it.
Yeah, and Danny, this is the thing. Winston is very available. He takes personal calls if people have questions. I think you're offering that. We're going to have a strategic partnership here with TFNN. I hope you all like that. Will that help you out?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for calling, Danny.
So make sure you take advantage of that special TFNN special that we're offering.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question about the radiation from Fukushima. Any thoughts on that with the ocean waters and what's happening?
I'm going to throw in a curveball here.
Okay. Now we got 2 minutes left. So.
Okay. So the curveball is this. Right now we're going under heavy-duty sun flares. Okay, there's an 11-year cycle. So this planet is accustomed to radiation. Okay, so the Fukushima issue is actually a fluoride issue. It is a high fluoride. You see, in order to make plutonium and these radioactive materials, you need lots of fluorides. So the Fukushima, it's not the radiation. Radiation causes hysteria. People get nervous. They hear radiation, they get nervous. That's not the issue. The issue is for fluoride. And yes, that is an issue.
Right.
And so the concern about food being contaminated was not radiation. Fluoride, that is an issue. So I consider radiation basically a red herring because there is truly a concern.
Yes.
So we've got a lot of other things we can talk about, Winston. We really, really appreciate you coming on today. Again, visit idealearthwater.com. Winston has a wonderful February special. Subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll be getting a lot of good information from him on a lot of different subjects.
Yeah, that's the newsletter that is on the idealwater.com website. You just go to subscribe, and you get the newsletter, and you get a lot of information. And you have a phone number they can call?
Yes, it's 727-447-2344. That's 727-447-2344. And by the way, get that clarify and simplify the water confusion. It really does take the confusion out so that you can buy any product. At least you won't be snowed very easily once you read that.
And snowed is the word for sure for most of the nation right now. Hey, thanks a lot, Winston. I really appreciate you coming on.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it. And folks, pick up my Health Signals newsletter and, give us a call next week. And with any questions, we're going to have another great jammed show, that's for sure. Lots of information coming up. So thanks a lot, Paige. Thanks a lot, Winston.
You're welcome.
See you next time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
You're watching Tiger TV.